What is up, guys? Now, before we get started with the video, I just like to say that I'm out of middle school now. I'm heading into high school. It's the summertime, so now I'm back to my regular upload schedule. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys my new studio. Give me 1 second. Welcome to my studio 2.0. One of the big noticeable upgrades you see is the ginormous foldable table I can finally do tech reviews on. And right behind me is a ginormous green screen. This green screen I can finally display anything on. I need to get a more stable chair. Anyways, today I'm going to be giving my final thoughts on Apple's WWDC 2025 event. I'm going to be looking at all the features that they went over and seeing if it is a hit or a miss. So, let's get started. Alright, so kicking off the event, we see Craig in an F1 car. You know, right before this, he skydived, but now he's in an F1 car. How much money does this dude have? I mean, supposing he works at Apple, of course he makes a lot. Anyway, now starting off to the event, they showed off Foundation Models Framework. This is like artificial intelligence built into any application that you could possibly use, like Kahoot, AllTrails, which is what they exactly showed off right here. I honestly think this is a pretty decent upgrade to just doing everything manually. This cuts off the manual labor. You could do whatever, you can do anything. Show an image in Kahoot, boom, turns it into a quiz. You type in a little prompt, there you go. That's your trail for the next day. So honestly, this is we're starting off strong here. This is pretty good. All right, now one new thing they showed off with iOS is the lock screen. This lock screen uses a new time font where it stretches. For me, I feel like a little bit too much is going on here on the lock screen. I mean, it's just a lock screen. It doesn't need to be that complicated. Depending on the wallpaper, the time moves, the time stretches to fit in the frame still, but still behind the subject. I feel like it's a little bit too much going on. I just like basic stuff. But one thing I will like is the new 3D style parallax wallpapers. Parallax style just brings me back, it's nostalgic wallpapers. But this new 3D one, I'm on board with. That's pretty cool. And another cool thing is that if you're playing a media, on Spotify, instead of showing the album cover on the lock screen, it shows the actual animation, like what you see in Spotify when you pull up the song that you're playing. For me, it's either a yes or no. Because remember, like I said, I don't want it to be too complicated. I like album covers, I like those, but animations, I'm not sure. Some animations can be good, like part of the music video, that can be a good touch, but sometimes the album cover just hits, Alright, now before we dive deeper here, I'm gonna knock out one more thing because this is basically gonna impact the rest of the video here. This new thing called liquid glass. Alright, now I have heard a lot about commotion about liquid glass. There's people that love it, people that hate it. I'm not sure yet. Because 1, it looks pretty cool, and 2, it also looks pretty bad. 3, a lot of people keep complaining about the lag when it first came out. Like the control panel, I saw the control panel, it's you can barely read the text. So I'm not really sure how to feel about it. Just like acquired taste, it's going to be acquired looks, okay? And also this liquid glass thing, it can also react through gyroscopes and just like the parallax wallpaper, right? But instead it goes on for rotation and it uses surrounding light and refracts light in a real way that glass would in real life. Even the clear icons too. If you turn on the clear mode instead of light or dark mode, I feel like you're gonna have to squint real hard if you're gonna have a lighter wallpaper background. You're not gonna see it being your favorite, but soon you're gonna get used to it. And I get it. It looks cool in some applications, but putting it in everything, even the applications, light mode, dark mode, and glass mode, I'm not trying to feel about it. I like the classic look of Apple products, just not this crazy. Now to kick things off, I have seen that they've changed all the software numbers of watchOS, tvOS, iOS, iPadOS, visionOS, macOS, all those things. They changed it all to 26. And to me, I like that one. I like all those. visionOS 26, okay, hold on. We're jumping from 1, 2, and then 26. Honestly, for me, when I first heard about it, I thought that was crazy, but then when I found out that it was meant to represent the year that it came out with, I just let it slide. It's pretty cool that now we can, differentiate from now on, what operating system we are just by the year, which is good. Now they did slightly redesign the camera's UI, which also, and the app icon. App icon, for me, I mean, it looks pretty cool. But then again, with the old camera icon that, you know, right now we're using, I feel like that's gonna stick out as like nostalgia for me. Because now I'm gonna have to get used to the lens, which when I think about camera, I just don't want to see like a, you know, a circle with glass inside. I want to see like an actual camera, you know, so I'm probably gonna have to get used to that. Looking inside the camera app, we do see that we're back to the basics now. We're back to the hidden stuff. It's more minimalistic. I love it. That's what I like. You just gotta press it, swipe it if you want to change the mode, recording, photos. All those basic things are like still kept, but they changed the UI. It was like amazing. All right, now we're gonna go into communication apps, starting with the phone. Now in the phone app, they've made this new layout where instead of having the favorites and recents, you know, in separate tabs, they put it all onto one nice looking page, which I like. It makes it more simplified and you don't have to switch between tabs, which could, you know, ruin any possibility of you trying to remember that person's name or review or anything, you know? Anything can happen. Yeah, but I like this. I like this new layout. Another thing they showed off is this call screening, where if you know, get called by an unknown number, then it shows at the bottom like, hey, what's the reason that you're here for, you know? This makes it a lot more useful if you have, you know, just got a phone number from a friend, but you still haven't, you know, put them in your contacts, you know? And if you're now just getting a call from them, then, you know, this is a pretty good update. You know exactly who your friend is and you know exactly who the scams are. And one new feature they added was hold assist, where if you're on hold with somebody, let's say like a company or an agent, then you are staying in that exact same spot. And once you get to the front of the queue, then it suddenly rings you up and tells you like, hey, your hold is over. You can now talk to your agent, which I think is pretty cool. That's pretty sick. Of course, as an 8th grader, that's, you know, kind of weird to say that hold assist is pretty cool because an 8th grader would never go through any hold calls, but still, I think it's pretty cool. Now onto the messages app. Now, I've seen more cool things there than useful things. Let's say like the background. You can change the background for your messages. You can also set up polls and give Apple Cash through group chats too. I feel like this is now becoming more of like a minimalist Discord, which I like. And finally, they added typing indicators to group chats. I've been waiting on this update for so many years and finally I have it. It's so refreshing to now see typing indicators in group chats instead of guessing when they're gonna chime in. And just like the phone app, the messages app is also sorted pretty well. All the main messages pop up first, and then there's this little tab where you can look at unknown callers, unknown senders. It's pretty cool. I can no longer stand those fake scams of calls, messages, and filing. Now they're hidden away. Now, something that I've seen that's been pretty high demanding lately is live translation. It translates from one language to another language. And when I first heard about this, I thought it was gonna be some like flip phone Samsung ad talking in the phone and then handing it over to the other person and then they hear it in their language. But no, this is actually pretty cool. They integrated in FaceTime, messages, phone. I think that's it pretty much. But yeah, it's actually a decent upgrade than, you know, just like classic voice live translation. Along with the translation, there's also lyrics translation and lyrics pronunciation, where if you like, you know, listening to K-pop or something in Korean, you can also sing along with the pronunciation under the captions. And if you really like songs that much, then you also would like auto mix. It's like, you know, being at a concert, at a DJ, in between songs, there's that nice little transition. It's exactly what happens with auto mix. One cool thing they've updated for visual intelligence, where you scrolling through, you see a jacket you might like or an object, whatever you like, you can press on it and then it'll like show you Google images of that object. Oh, one neat thing that they've updated was that if you're gonna screenshot something of something that you might want, instead of going through the Photos app to, you know, use that visual intelligence, this time it shows up directly on the screenshot menu, which is a pretty nice time saver. And along with that faster speed, it also shows Google, Etsy, Amazon, any e-commerce platform that you use mostly, it shows up directly on there to show you where you can buy it. Along with those updates, you can also screenshot like an event poster that you see, then it immediately moves it into your calendar if you want to go there or if you're planning to. Or you can also use ChatGPT to find more background information on those images, which is pretty cool. As a person who used the old visual intelligence quite a lot when I'm outside with nature and trying to, see something brand new, maybe like a new flower that I've never seen before, it does a pretty good job by itself in the old version, but I'm excited for this new version. Alright, that's enough for iOS. Now it's time for watchOS. The reason why I got this Apple Watch was to be more active, and now I'm hearing that watchOS 26 will bring new workout layouts, new workout buddies as well, which motivates you throughout your workout, and basically just rearranging the whole layout of the workout app. I was pretty amazed. When I first saw it in the event, I was hyped up, I was pumped, I was excited. Oh, and obviously there will be liquid glass in watchOS 26. And also along the event, they did talk about tvOS, iPadOS, and macOS having liquid glass. They really cannot stop using this liquid glass. All right, now moving on to macOS. macOS, they finally called it Tahoe for Lake Tahoe, which makes sense with the whole liquid glass thing. They've also added a new continuity feature called Live Activities, which is, let's say if you're ordering Uber Eats on a phone, you could order that and it will update you based on whatever system you're mostly working on, which is like a Mac. If you're working on a Mac, then it tells you all about your Uber Eats details. And if you click on it, then it takes you to like an iPhone screen mirror thing, which is pretty cool if you don't want to take out your phone and, fill it with all that passcode stuff, get to the Uber app thing. You can just work on it right now, which I think is pretty refreshing. Along with the iPhone to Mac thing, they've also added the phone app to Mac, another refreshing update. Alright, now on to visionOS 26. I find it funny how they went from visionOS 1, 2, and then all the way to 26, but hey, I get it. Now, apparently they finally added widgets to Apple Vision Pro, which, the more you think about it, the more I feel like they're making it more like a MacBook on your head. At that point, just might as well use a MacBook. It's faster, it's less time consuming, and really, it's just right there in front of you. You don't have to put on that big hunk of metal and then just like... And I did find something pretty cool. Remember that beta feature where it basically takes your entire face and then transfers it to the other person on the other line of the phone call, FaceTime? It looks horrendous back then, but now it actually looks like a video game. The faces look so much more detailed. I actually feel like I can have a normal conversation with these people now. And finally, if you have multiple Vision Pros together, then you can also share together among friends and have like a, indoor theater. But I just want to say something. Who's gonna spend almost $4,000 on one headset and then just share it all together instead of, just buying a ginormous TV and then sharing that instead? Like seriously, who's buying this just for theater watching? Now, I'm not really gonna get into iPadOS because all the things that have already been said on iPadOS is kind of what is the same thing with iOS and all the other platforms. Liquid glass, new windowing system, live translation, background tasks, a new updated Files app, but I will say that the multitasking thing and the Windows thing is pretty sick. I'm just probably not going to use it that much because, it's an iPad after all. So, what's my final take on WWDC 2025? I'm going to say it's a little bit underwhelming for me this year. The liquid glass thing I'm not really a big fan of. I'm sure quite a few people are going to get used to it. Most of the event just talked about like new designs, new layouts, and that just means that you're going to have to get used to it over and over again, because instead of being useful and like for you having it to actually, engage with it, this time you're just going to have to get used to it over time. So that's kind of a bummer for me. But I will say the most useful stuff that I've seen is actually pretty useful, and that kind of persuades me a little bit into downloading the update, but I'm not really sure yet. It's still in developer beta right now. It's not going to come out probably until like September, where the new generation phones come out. So I'm probably just going to wait, see any new updates they do, anything that they change to fix the lag that I've seen on public betas, and we'll see. And once the iPhone 17 comes out, then I'll probably test it out and upload a new video for you guys to see and give my final thoughts on it. So hope you guys enjoyed this new setup. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in my next video.